Everything around me gentrified. Better wake up, nigga, open your eyes. Go and get high, then you eat Popeyes. But it ain't uptown, only on our side. Cross they finger, cause they hope we die. Musta forgot we was born to survive. Only in the hood when you need a vote. Or fucking our women in exchange for dope. Same old shit, it ain't changing though. Got me feeling like God, my only hope. Leave him alone! Oh.
Alright, so, check. So, I don't have a whole lot to say on Camp Hope because I don't know a lot of the situation. The first thing I want to do is just read my response that I wrote to Ben Stuckert. Terry also put together a response and emailed it to him. But shit, I'm on the wrong thing again. I gotta go look for him again on the other one because he has, two of these here. So I said, I am happy to see plans for progress in this area. Everyone wants to live in a nicer city, but I have lived in a nicer city and watched it become a living hell all around me as they attempted to use free market solutions to social problems. I think most of us would agree that recognizing single-family neighborhoods rezoning single-family neighborhoods appears to be a good solution to some of the problem, but I have a great concern that just cause eviction doesn't seem to be mentioned. Just cause is vital to tenant protections as they need to feel safe when reporting safety and health concerns or possible organizing with other tenants to find solutions to problems they may have with their landlord. Just cause is not only important, it is ethical, and not having it is not. I also have concerns about the target investment program, which may make some aesthetically pleasing neighborhoods where they weren't before, but it sounds a lot like gentrification, which I have also lived through and seen destroy, to me, what makes a neighborhood, the people who live there. Forcing people out of their communities makes life harder on them every time without prejudice. There are brilliant examples all over the world of public housing done right, which reduces crime and addiction in those neighborhoods. You are mulling over right now spending more money on police when there are more effective tools to reducing crime. They may not be popular, but a good leader can inform people and get them on board with effective but unpopular ideas. I also like that you want to create a path to ownership for tenants. I agree, and this is at the forefront of everything I believe. I think securing loans to turn buildings into co-ops when they go up for sale would be an ideal solution for this. I hope you will consider some of these options and leave just cause on the table, as it is priority number one right now. So that was my response to Ben Stuckert's post on Facebook. Nobody has responded to it. It hasn't, he got a bunch of likes and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of comments. There was some from landlords. Oh, I could read you one from one of the landlords that I responded to. I think. Okay, so Jeff Yarnell said, Steve Schaefer, and not to mention that these properties represent the landlord's investments. We can't have our rentals torn all to pieces or tenants that cannot or will not pay. We can't have the city council dictating who we rent to. I'm about ready to move from the sinking ship city, somewhere that has a common sense city council. And I just responded with, if you cannot run your business ethically and make a profit, then we have to find alternatives to the for-profit model. Basically, that's the sense of it. If having an ethical business isn't profitable, then we have to find another solution. And there are other solutions. There are other possibilities out there, and it's just a matter of people, shedding their insecurities about the word socialism or anything like that, where people do for themselves instead of, waiting for somebody to come and invest and add that contentious, profitable relationship with them. So, anyway, on to the Camp Hope thing. Now, Camp Hope, it was a protest, and forgive me if I don't get this completely clear, but the the city had lost 150 beds for House of Charity. So homeless shelter beds had closed down, and there was supposed to be money there for options, and somebody didn't go and get it. There's some kind of contentious relationship there with city council, I believe, and the House of Charity or something. Somebody has not put action into getting the beds, and so there's all these homeless people, and we have sit and lie ordinance, which has been in effect, I guess, for 3 years, but hasn't been properly enforced. And they started cracking down on the homeless sitting and laying around the city, and they're everywhere right now. I mean, there's entire sidewalks that you can't walk down because they're completely crowded with people. And there's people laying in doorways everywhere. And this is the crazy thing is Spokane's not alone in this. It's happening in Moses Lake right now. They have to have a tent city in Moses Lake. They got like a population of 30,000 or something like that. And they have a tent city, and rent's fairly cheap there. I mean, there's a huge problem, and it's a sign of the wealth disparity that has been created by this extreme profits and lower wages and higher expenses, that it's just putting working people out on the street. I mean, when before, maybe you could make enough. When you go back far enough, there was a time when minimum wage meant that you could secure a house and buy a home, and that's not the case today. And because there's nobody there to be able to make a profit off of you then, But anyway, other than banks or whatever, but need more people that are accumulating wealth and less people that are safe and secure and fed and housed and clothed. So anyway, the sit and lie ordinance, they started really putting it into effect and cracking down on it. It sounds like what the police are saying is that it's not, you go to community court for these type of things, and it's not a criminal charge, I guess, but a means to get people to resources. But the people protesting don't seem to feel like it is, and definitely feel like their rights are being violated. So I'm not sure how honest the police department is being about the whole situation, and I don't really, trust them very far anyway. So the cracking down on the sit and lie ordinance, and people decided to fill the city hall corridors and were sleeping in the corridors there. And man, Alfredo, I forget his last name now. I should have had that ready, but Alfredo was on the Praxis radio show with me when I was a guest on there about a week ago on KYRS, and an interesting guy. But he went down there and he had a hunger strike, so it was like for a week or 8 days or something like that. He didn't eat food. And he sat there and camped with all the homeless people, and to draw attention to the situation. And then somebody donated tents, somebody donated porta potties, and it just kind of became a spot where all of them could go, and it was kind of a safe place for them all to camp out while there was no beds being used. And because of this, city council forced the police to stop enforcing sit and lie ordinance until the beds were open. Now, what I don't understand is, does that mean like during the day then they're not supposed to go outside? Like they can't be anywhere because it's illegal to sit or lie somewhere? that's one of the things that I've wondered about. Like, I mean, we have, you know, you know, I can't think of the word right now, but the structures like pots, like curves and stuff that hold, you know, bushes and flowers in front of storefronts and hotels and that sort of thing. They have like spikes on them, so you can't sit down. And I noticed this when I first came to the city because I was riding the bus everywhere and walking around a little bit and taking pictures. And Spokane has some really beautiful old buildings, and so I would just kind of wander around when I first got clean and take pictures and just check things out and see what the city was about. And I noticed right away that like you couldn't sit anywhere. Like there was nowhere to like just take a break. And so I guess I don't know what they're supposed to do. I don't know what people think that homeless people are supposed to do, and I know a lot of them just think that, well, it's their fault and blah blah blah, but they have no idea. Like they haven't gone through their exact history and been through the things that those people have been through, or been through abuses or struggles with addiction or mental health or anything else. And one of the things to take into consideration is the economic insecurity that's taking place right now. It could be a very big driving force in the fact that depression, anxiety, and all of these things are becoming more prevalent. And you know, something that we don't usually take into consideration when diagnosing people with things. We just want to diagnose them and give them drugs, but socioeconomics play a huge factor in depression and anxiety and all of these other diagnoses. And poor people are disproportionately affected by these things. Now, some people might think that they're poor because they're depressed, or they're poor because they have anxiety. But that can't be any more true than saying that that it's common for everybody to have depression. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, they got beds opened up, and city council, I guess that just meant that now that the beds were open up, sit and lie was back in force, and they came to move everybody out of what they were calling Camp Hope, where everybody was camping out in front of City Hall. This meant that they had to do it by, of course, police force, because that's how you enforce capitalism, is with the police. That's one of the things that people always like to say about socialism and communism, that sort of thing, is you have to do it by force. But you have to enforce capitalism on people too. And so anyway, police came. Councilwoman Kate Burke handcuffed or chained herself with other people to the corridors. And it's not, something I would have done. I don't know, but only because only because I don't think it was effective. And it just gave other people ammo to shit on her undeservedly, as they continue to do, because she is a very outspoken woman. And the other female council members are much more mum. So, but anyway, 2 people were arrested, including Alfredo, and they broke up the camp and took down the tents. And I don't know if people were able to take some of the tents with them or anything. I know that it's really hard to collect all your belongings and carry them all over town, because I've been there. Believe it or not, I was homeless before and on junk and everything else. I live a pretty decent life now, but 7 years ago, I woke up on a park bench. I had a torch underneath me that I was trying to use to keep myself warm, and when I got up, I set my pants on fire. And it was